September 18, 2023, regular session meeting of the Cinnaminson Township Committee is now called to order. Everyone please stand and join me in saluting the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Public Law 1975, Chapter 231. Notice of this meeting was published in the Burlington County Times and the Courier Post on January 6, 2023. Roll call, please, Madam Secretary.
Yes, Mayor. Mr. Warner is absent. Ms. Craybill?
Present.
Mr. Segrest is absent. Deputy Mayor Condon?
Here.
Mayor Miguel?
Here.
Thank
We
you.
do have a quorum.
Thank you. First on our agenda tonight is committee liaison reports. Committee Member Horner is not here, so we'll start with Committee Member Cravel for Parks, Recreation, and Veterans Affairs, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't have anything to report this evening.
Oh, that was quick. Thank you. Mr. Segrest is not here. Eric, do you have his report, or?
I do not, sir.
Okay.
There's no report for him tonight either.
Okay, thank you. That leaves you, Paul, Deputy Conda, Mayor Conda?
Deputy Conda
Conda
Mayor.
Deputy Mayor Conda, Administration, Health and Senior Services.
Okay, after all of that, I have no report as well.
Guys are killing me. Thank you, Mr. Conda. I have public safety. The August 20th, 2023 activity report is as follows. Total incidents responded to was 2622. Total arrests made was 21. Total property checks made was 874. Total motor vehicle stops 383. Total motor vehicle summonses 245. Total DWI arrests 5, and Morgan Cemetery calls was 0. I also, Chief Calabrese wanted me to post this. Hyundai Corporate has provided law enforcement with a surplus of steering wheel locks for Hyundais. We just received 40 from the Edgewater Park Township Police Department to help. If you have one of these vehicles listed, do we have a list of the? Okay, it's on our website. Check it out. You can come to the Cinnaminson Township Police Department to obtain a free steering wheel lock, such as this, while supplies last. And that concludes my report. Next on the agenda is our consent agenda. Mr. Schuberger, can you please give some detail regarding the resolution of tonight's current consent agenda, please?
Sure, Mayor. Resolution 110 is authorizing the release of a performance guarantee and establishing a maintenance guarantee for Cinnaminson Urban Renewal, otherwise known as Westrum. That is the release of performance guarantees in the amount of $65,636 and the posting of a 2-year landscape buffer maintenance guarantee in the amount of $9,095.40. And finally, posting of a 2-year stormwater improvement maintenance guarantee in the amount of $2,790. That has been reviewed and recommended by project engineer Remington and Vernick. Resolution 111 is authorizing the final payment and release of a performance guarantee for the Cinnaminson Branch Library roof replacement project. This also comes to us from our project engineer Remington and Vernick. It's the release of a performance guarantee in the amount of $232,197.90, as well as the recommendation for a final payment on that project to contractor Robert Ganter Contractors in the amount of $4,054.86. Resolution 112 is authorizing a change order and final payment for the 2021 Community Development Block Grant concrete, sidewalk, and curb repairs project. Also from project engineer Remington and Vernick. This is for a change order which will reduce the contract amount by $17,044.87, and then the subsequent final payment to the contractor, Think Pavers, in the amount of $27,904.59. Resolution 113 is the release of a performance guarantee and establishing a maintenance guarantee for Jiffy Lube. This also comes as a recommendation from our project engineer, Remington and Vernick. The performance guarantee to be released is in the amount of $43,837.20, a cash bond in the amount of $4,870.80, and the posting of a 2-year maintenance guarantee in the amount of $10,394.10. Resolution 114 is authorizing the release of a performance guarantee for the Lakeview Memorial Park Association. Once again, reviewed and recommended by project engineer Remington and Vernick. And the release of the performance guarantee in this case is in the amount of $5,698.22. Resolution 115 is the awarding of a contract to American Asphalt Company for the 2023 Road Improvement Program. Bids were received on September 7th, bids were received on September 7th and reviewed by our staff and professionals. The lowest responsible bidder was American Asphalt Company in the amount of $474,474.74. Yes. So our professionals recommend authorization by the governing body for that award of contract tonight. Resolution 116 is authorizing an award of contract for the purchase of playground safety surfacing material. This comes from our Public Works Superintendent, Kevin Gaunt, who has identified the need to purchase these materials. The award is to state contract vendor Marchorano Recreation in the amount of $10,875. Resolution 117 is authorizing the submission of a New Jersey Division of Mental Health and Addiction Services Youth Leadership Grant application. This program is administered through the Governor's Council on Alcoholism and Drug Abuse through the as part of the township's municipal alliance initiatives. This is for the FY 2024 grant application, and it's in the amount of $7,394. Funding will be utilized for mental health and resiliency programs as part of our municipal alliance initiative. And then finally, there is a raffle. Cinnaminson High School project graduation in June of 2024. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Schubager. Can I have a motion to open public comment on the consent agenda items only?
I will make a motion to open public comment on consent agenda items only.
Thank you, Mr. Conda. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Crable. Voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it. Public comment on the consent agenda is now open. Please come forward and state your name and address for the record, please. Seeing none. Can I have a motion? I'll make the motion to close public comment on the consent agenda. Can I have a second, please?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Crable. Voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? The ayes have it. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as read?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Conda. Can I have a second?
I will second.
Thank you, Mrs. Crable. Roll call vote, please, Madam Secretary.
Yes, Mayor. Mrs. Craybill?
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Conda?
Aye.
Mayor McGill?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item up is, meeting minutes, right? Approval of meeting minutes.
Can you take them separately, Mayor, please?
Yes, we can. We'll start with the August 7th. Everybody a chance to read them?
Yes.
Very good. Paul?
Yep.
May I have a motion to accept the one more time. Can I have a motion to accept the meeting minutes for August 7th, 2023, please?
I will make a motion to approve the meeting minutes for August 7th, 2023.
Thank you, Mrs. Crable. I'll second that. Roll call, but can we,
I'll do roll call.
Okay.
Yes. Mrs. Craybill?
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Conda?
Abstain.
Mayor McGill?
aye.
Thank you.
Okay, now can I have a motion to accept the meeting minutes for August 21st, 2023?
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of August 21st, 2023.
Thank you, Mr. Conda. Can I have a second?
I will second.
Okay, roll call, please, Madam Secretary.
Mrs. Craybill?
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Conda?
Aye.
Mayor McGill?
Abstain.
Thank you.
Bill list. Everybody a chance to see the bills before tonight?
Mm-hmm.
Very good. I'll make a motion to approve the bill list. Can I have a second, please?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Mr. Conda. Roll call vote, please, Madam Secretary.
Mrs. Craybill?
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Konda?
Aye.
Mayor Miguel?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the lineup is staff and professional comments. Any comments from our staff and/or professionals?
None from me this evening, Mayor, thank you.
Thank you. Stu.
Mayor, I just want to make a couple comments. One, we had a very fruitful, successful summer concert series this summer. 10 scheduled concerts, the most we've ever had, as far as I'm aware, in Cinnaminson. Unfortunately, we actually saw 7 of them due to unfortunate weather, but it was still a nice summer, and we had good attendance. I appreciate everyone's work on it, and for all the residents coming out, enjoying some good music and time with friends and family out there. It was good. And then Cinnaminson Festival was just completed. It was a good event. So many people had a lot to do with getting that coordinated. Multiple departments, multiple staff, of course, under the leadership of this committee, with supporting such an event. And although weather also wreaked havoc a little bit on that event, we were able to get it in and still had a good crowd. So thank you to everybody for all your work on that event. I think it's important that we celebrate the town and things that are going on within our town. So, Mayor, thank you.
Kevin? Mr. Engineer? Okay. Now, we're going to come to public comment. I'll make a motion to open public comment. Can I have a second, please?
I will second that.
Thank you, Mr. Konda. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nays? The ayes have it. Public comment is now open. Please come forward and state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, everyone. Jerry Hines, 808 Turner Avenue. And I just have a question for the committee. As a member of the Good Neighbor Outreach Ministry here in Cinnaminson, out of Asbury United Methodist Church, as I've said before, I work with the homeless, and I'm trying to find out if there's any capacity that our township has to assist our ministry as we head into the colder weather. We have residents who are living in a parking lot, one behind the church. And, you know, I've explored the option of affordable housing, and as we have discussed, it's really not any for these people. There are, market to affordable homes, things like that in the township. But I'm looking for something that's going to help these very dire people who are in these vulnerable situations in getting into some kind of housing or some kind of help in any capacity through the township. I mean, we're a really progressive township. I'm very proud to be a resident of Cinnaminson. We have a lot of new businesses. We're always talking about Seabox and, the fried chicken and Tim Horton. We have all these businesses, but we have people who have lived in Cinnaminson who have fallen on hard times and are living on the street. And I'd like to know, is there any capacity that our township has that we can assist people? I've talked to Mr. Schubiger a number of times. He's always gracious with, hearing me out and discussing these situations. But I'd like to bring it to the township's attention and find out what we can do. Is there any point person to talk to? What is it that can be done to help? When there is a person, whether they're a Cinnaminson resident or not, who becomes homeless here or is somewhere on the street homeless here in Cinnaminson, usually our police department might call our ministry and say, what can I do? The answer is not to arrest somebody because they're homeless. And some of these people, in fact, the 2 people that I'm thinking of right now are senior citizens. We're not talking about people who are, young and you say, well, get yourself a job. And many of them fall, within, they're not in a guideline where they can get assistance through the Board of Social Services. You're better off having 0 income because at least I can take them to the Board of Social Services and they can get some temporary rental assistance. If you get Social Security and it's $800 a month, which you can go nowhere here in Cinnaminson, certainly, and find an apartment. But if you make that, you're not eligible for any benefits through the Board of Social Services. You're not eligible for anything. You just have this amount of money coming in and you live in the parking lot. That's the answer for that. Pastor Dahl has found people on benches. We are really doing our best to house people, but we can't just put people in motels indefinitely. It's expensive. We have spent a great deal of money just on Cinnaminson residents in the last 2 years in motels. It's $275, and some of them are more than that a week. But that's not the answer, because at some point we have to say, we cannot house you anymore. And we did that with one person who we'd housed for quite a while, and she ended up in the parking lot behind the library. And she's a senior citizen. So what is it that we can do?
Mayor, if I can respond, there's really, I think, two ways that we can deal with this. Number one is there are county and even perhaps state and even perhaps federal programs dealing with homelessness that's going on throughout the country. And I think that Mr. Schuberger can be a good source of engaging whomever wants to be involved with this to see what programs are available. One thing that we can't do is we can't expend taxpayer funds on temporarily housing homeless people, especially those that are not residents. But what I would suggest, and I think that this committee is progressive and does care about everybody, and that you connect businesses that are in town, what can be done is, and with you as part of this, is to have the religious leaders, they can coordinate meetings with the businesses in towns, because it can't be done publicly with public funds. That's through the processes I mentioned first. But the other way to do it is having the connection between the leaders, whether they be clergy or non-clergy, and the businesses, and those folks get together and create an entity where there can be monies. If you're suggesting that the money's from business, we can't solicit businesses for this purpose, but the residents can. Any resident can do that, and we certainly can help facilitate those meetings and those connections. That's what can be done.
Okay, as far as the homelessness programs,
You're going to have to get all those details, not at the public meeting. Mr. Schuberger
no,
can
I
give you that
understand it. I
information.
already have those details, sir. There's not really any help. I wouldn't be here if the homelessness programs were helping. They're referring people to our ministries. You call 211 and they'll give you a Cinnaminson, Asbury. So, and we do have meetings, and we have talked about this, extensively. We're trying to figure out other ways and trying to brainstorm with other people. I've talked to Mr. Schuberger on a number of occasions about the same thing. If he had an answer, he would certainly give it to me. He would say, this is what we can do.
I've given you what I think that the township can legally do.
Mayor, just to add to that, so I agree with Stuart, our solicitor, in this sense. So I'll do whatever I can to advocate for people locally who are struggling, like as you referred to, you had a couple in mind in particular.
Mm-hmm.
While we can't do anything directly, as he also alluded to, we've developed some pretty strong ties and good professional relationships with a lot of people at other levels of government,
Mm-hmm.
just by virtue of making those connections. And I don't know, I know you've done a lot of research and you've tried as well. I'll do whatever I can on behalf of the governing body and the residents and anyone seeking help to reach out to those contacts. And I'm talking about state and federal legislators, the county, and if there's anything out there at all that we can explore or come up with some assistance, I'll do whatever I can to do that and provide that information back to you. But as Mr. Platt alluded to, we are limited by what we can do directly here in town. But that doesn't mean we don't want to help and we don't want to advocate and try to come up with a solution that might be a little bit broader.
And that's
I'll do whatever I can. I'm sure that I'm not going to speak for the governing body, but as long as I'm out there trying to help, they've always been supportive of that. So I can promise you that I'll do that. I don't know what the results are going to be. Unfortunately, I can't promise you the results.
I appreciate that, because that's a step in the right direction. I appreciate that.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Hello, Renee Oler Davis, 2108 Hunter Street. I just wanted to know if we had any bids on the sidewalks yet for Union Landing.
I can take that if you'd like. We do not. And before we get any bids for the sidewalks, our engineer has to write a bid spec so that the various companies can
right.
bid against the same standard. And we're not looking at anything until probably budget year '24. So, I mean, you know, even if we were to get bids by the end of this year, we're not gonna see any
Well, I didn't
activity
think
on it until
we-
mid-year next year at least.
I didn't think we'd see them until next year. I just wondered if the process was moving along so that they could go in by next year.
Yeah, as far as I know, it is moving along. The bid spec still has to be completed by our engineers. And once that's done, it will go out to bid, but we're looking at 2024.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mike Goins, 100 Purnell. Do we know what's going in next to Tim Horton?
Go ahead.
Mayor?
Yeah.
Do you mean the building next to,
That's got all
it's
like
not
the ba-
Popeyes and not Tim Hortons?
Right,
but
it's
being
got all the
constructed?
bays like type of thing?
It's on spec. There is not a user as of this time.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing none, I will make a motion to close public comment. Can I have a second, please?
I will second.
Thank you, Ms. Crable. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Nays? The ayes have it. Next on the agenda is committee comment. Any comments from committees tonight? Any comments from committee? It's hard to say. Nothing?
No, I don't have anything.
No, I have nothing, thank you.
I just have to, one thing, just, I want to piggyback on what Mr. Schubaker said. Our summer concert series was fantastic. We had a couple bands that included our very own Deputy Mayor Paul Conda on percussion. But all the bands were fantastic. We had a great turnout. Thank you to Mrs. Cravel and Mr. Schubaker for getting that together. And our Old Cinnaminson Day, which is now the Cinnaminson Fall Festival, was fantastic.
Cinnaminson Festival.
Cinnaminson Festival, sorry. Was fantastic, another great job. And the weather it rained a little bit, but then after the rain stopped, it was just, fantastic. And then ended with fireworks. It was a great job by all. Thank everybody for doing their duty and continuing the township running at a very high rate. We appreciate it. Mr. Minton, I forgot, anything you have to add? I meant to, thank you. All right, I guess that leads us to our closing of the adjourn the meeting. I will make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Can I have a second, please?
I will second that.
Thank you, Mr. Conda. All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? The ayes have it. Next meeting is now adjourned. Next meeting is Monday, October 2nd, 2023 at 6:30 PM in this same spot. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. Meeting's adjourned.
Great job, Mayor.